Alright, let's imagine something for a minute. Picture yourself as the person at a studio whose job it is to figure out what makes a great anime series. Most of your series in the past cover either new or original ideas, or the alternative of finding a book series or manga to base your adaptation on. With this idea, what would you look for in a series? Maybe a unique plot, interesting characters, immersive storytelling, or maybe if you're lucky, finding all those in one. Now imagine as you're looking for this unique and new anime to adapt, your next candidate is actually a light novel that grabs your attention. It's unlike anything you've seen before, and a plot so out there that somehow it works. But even the plot itself wasn't the thing that caught your attention. No, it was something else entirely. The idea that gets presented goes something like this. On a beautiful summer day, Kanye West bumps into 50 Cent and the two song legends decide, hey, let's check out this old theme park, or something like that. And they go check out a theme park to find an old rundown place, and nowhere near the expectations they were hoping for. The two feel bad about this, and with their combined efforts they decide to save the theme park, and the mascots from closing down for good. A little confused? Yeah, me too, to be honest. So let's check out the wacky and surprising world of Amagi Brilliant Park. Before we begin, some context. I came across this anime back in 2017 on the Crunchyroll app. At the time it looked like nothing too crazy, a 12-episode feel-good anime with little to no comments posted about it. I mean, the anime itself was released back in fall 2014, so it had been quite a while already, and even more so nowadays. And this is where I want to bring up the topic of today's video, Amagi Brilliant Park, the hidden gem of Kyoto animation. For those who have never heard or seen this show, the story follows the life of Seiya Kanye, which, being translated, literally means Kanye West. You can really tell that the writer didn't plan this fully, or didn't even care about copyright issues. So anyways, Kanye-kun is a high school student with incredible grades, and a face that would make any girl fall for him, or at least in his eyes. His hubris is closely linked to that idea, and literally has himself checking him out in mirrors, and complimenting himself on his looks. Basically, the guy is a self-centered stud that people like. But like most stories go, his life turns upside down when there comes a change. The change is accomplished and responsible by none other than Isuzu Sento, once again translated from 50 Cent. Isuzu is a girl in his class who he honestly hasn't been paying attention to, but she seems to have been paying a lot of attention to him. And as Isuzu confronts Kanye, he finds out that she's a little bit more than he bargained for. With Kanye being held basically at gunpoint on a date, the two head to a nearby amusement park, which is called, well, Amagi Brilliant Park, as the title suggests. One of my favorite literary tools, and a pretty popular one at that, is the idea of showing, not telling a story. And this anime does a perfect job at using the idea to its advantage. A dull, faded exterior greets the two visitors, and as they go around to the different attractions, it keeps up this same boring and unappealing place to be. And even some of the mascots aren't even on their rides to greet the guests. With this tour of the park, Kanye is then presented with the main issue of the story. Amagi Brilliant Park is on the slope towards closure, and the big problem is that the mascots and people who work at this theme park are actually quote-unquote fairies from another world. They need guests and people to receive happiness from, to survive, similar to the stories of Monster Inc. with scares and everything like that. If the park closes, it literally means the end of the road for everyone who calls this place home. Isuzu's only hope is for Kanye-kun to help them turn the ship around and become acting manager of the park. And with that role in mind, they need to invite thousands of guests in a short week period time. What I love about this story is it seems like a straightforward plot, that it will go straight from point A to point B throughout the series, finding a way to fix and save the park. And you'd think the story would be pretty straightforward, attracting guests and cleaning up the park. But Amagi Brilliant Park finds a way to spice everything up. Each episode is titled with a different problem or challenge to face, from not enough money all the way to the pool is dangerous. Instead of focusing on the main objective the whole time, each episode explores a new portion of Amagi Brilliant Park. Even with just 12 episodes, by the end you feel like a member of the group because of the small little details tucked inside each and every episode. But what really captures my interest, and a point in this video, is the fact as to why Amagi Brilliant Park is so surprising to me. The animation studio isn't just any run-of-the-mill studio. No, this is Kyoto Animation themselves, the company that is basically one of the supergiants of animation. And you know, they've made a few good animes. So literally this is why it boggles my mind when people say that they haven't heard about this anime before. This company has put out hit after hit, Amagi Brilliant Park being one of those. Yet this show has been swept under the rug somehow compared to some of their other works. And I know it's not as deep or profound as some of the ones that they have, but I would say it's a good slice of life in a way, and an exciting change from what their content usually is. For seasonal hits, you can normally expect hundreds or even thousands of comments per episode. Yet when looking at Amagi Brilliant Park, there's like nothing there, dude. This is an anime that isn't even on Crunchyroll anymore, and is honestly overlooked to an extent that makes me enjoy it even more. It's a surprise, but also an invitation. To join in the fun, to join in the stress, and to join the magic. Amagi Brilliant Park's opening song is a perfect expression of this idea, and honestly a banger. It's titled Extra Magic Hour, and gives off the vibe of something completely special in my opinion. It's like it says, an extra magic behind the park, a 13 o'clock period of time, where everything becomes magical, but also strangely nostalgic. The idea that this shouldn't exist, but here it is regardless. And I won't spoil how the series goes or ends, for therein lies some of the magic too. All I can say is that this show was unexpected, a surprise, but also a hidden gem that I look back on fondly. I think part of the appeal about this show is the characters that you come to love around the park. They each have so much personality, and not all just have slapstick jokes. Even the mascots, which may appear friendly and happy on the outside, have hard stuff going on in their lives. Bills to pay, family problems, and for the cases of Isuzu and Kanye, school and classes to attend. This anime tells a fun story which, in my opinion, contrasts many stories nowadays, where yes, it does have some high stakes in some ways, yet others it's a fun, relaxing anime which most people have forgotten about. It's not afraid to branch out and share almost interesting side quests, random filler episodes like the closed down portions of the park, or the pool is dangerous like I mentioned. We don't see right away the impacts of these episodes, but they do matter to show us as the audience an overview of what the park holds. It shows depth into the extent that Kyoto Animation took for this project, and one that I wish they had continued. I also love the counter tally of how many guests have attended the park, and the countdown of how many days the park has left to closing. It's also really fun how at the very end of each episode, instead of showing a scene for the next episode, or a cliffhanger for next week, we instead get to see portions of the park that are unexplored throughout the anime. It's fun hearing Isuzu and Kanye talking about certain aspects of the park, or how a ride draws in customers. Amagi Brilliant Park is one of those animes that I watch, and then rewatch again every summer. For some reason, just some of those old animes give me so much nostalgia. In a previous video essay, I talked about Nisekoi, and its impact with nostalgia and my love for the characters. But I really feel the same about this anime, with similar aspects and reasons. But rather than being a rom-com, this show brings me back because of the fantasy and whimsical aspects. In my opinion, there's not really any other show like this out there, and it makes me a little sad that not as many people know about this one, or at least talk about it. So maybe this will shed some light to people on a new anime to watch, or possibly a new comfort series that one may relate to. But what I do know is that everyone can at least appreciate the idea that there are many hidden gems that impact people's lives. And Amagi Brilliant Park, this is one that I quite frankly fell in love with. Thanks for watching.